Yo, what is up? It is your boy Zither, back at it again with another video. And was I expecting to do this video? No, but one of my subscribers actually recommended me a pretty amazing idea, and it's what if Deku was Namekian? I ended up checking out the idea, and you know what? I'm actually pretty in love with the idea. I saw that nobody else has done it, and I figured, you know what? Screw it. I'm gonna go ahead and record this now, and get the really creative juices going. But with that being said, I know you guys don't really want to be bored with a annoying 20-minute intro, so I'm just gonna go ahead and say thank you so much to Jonathan Caraballo. I don't know if I butchered your name, but thank you so much to you. That being said, let's go ahead and get into the story. Okay, so this story is actually going to start off after Piccolo actually sacrificed himself for Gohan. In this version of events, after he did that, he's doesn't go to the afterlife. For some reason, a part of him reincarnates, and he's then taken to the My Hero Academia world. He's gone. Piccolo will be no more. And now, there's gonna be one person, Izuku Midoriya. Just been born, and he has a sort of weird aura to him. I mean, he's a little different. I mean, yeah, he looks like his mom, but there's just something about him that just looks really weird at the same time. I mean, he's not green, he's normal, but he just has a weird aura to him, if you get what I mean. So, with that being said, when Deku's actually born, he's hit with a memory out of nowhere. No, it's actually not going to be Piccolo, and Piccolo's not going to be controlling Deku. It's going to be that Deku's gonna, get memories or flashbacks of his previous life every now and then. And that's essentially how he's going to realize how to use his powers during the series. So, with that being said, when Deku's born, things kind of go like normal. Except one day, when Deku's about 4 years old, he stretches his arms out pretty damn far, considering that Namekians have the ability to stretch themselves out, gigantification, enhanced hearing, healing, regeneration, and a pretty long life. I mean, they're pretty OP when you really think about it, and the warrior Namekians, they are nobody to be joked around with. So, when Deku grows up, he's not going to be picked on this time, and when Bakugo tries it, Deku does not take it lightly. When Bakugo tries to bully Deku, being that Deku actually has a way to defend himself and defend the kid that he's trying to bully, Deku steps in and tells Kacchan that, you know what, Kacchan, that's not a good idea. You shouldn't bully him. He hasn't done anything to you. As Bakugo would push Deku, and Deku would actually get pretty mad. This would make Deku wrap his arms around Bakugo as he then starts spinning Bakugo, but Bakugo would try to, land some little explosions, but when he does, Deku feels the pain, but then he lets go of Bakugo as Bakugo goes crashing into a wall and then decides that it'd probably be best if he actually just ended up running away. So, from then on, Bakugo was actually a little mad at Izuku, considering the fact that Deku had just whooped his butt. And afterwards, Bakugo decides that he's never going to lose to Izuku again. So for the next couple of years growing up, Bakugo and Izuku are going to grow up having a bit of a rivalry with Deku and Izuku, with Deku and Katsuki, essentially with them two, the two guys, just essentially trying to get at each other, just trying to see who can get stronger. Sometimes Bakugo would win and sometimes Deku would win, considering that Deku hasn't unlocked all of his abilities yet, since at this point, he will only have his enhanced hearing, his regeneration, and his stretching abilities. He still hasn't found out about his gigantification or his abilities to heal others. So, with that being said, that's all he has, his long arms and his healing, as well as his very quick regenerations. Pretty weird. One time when they were fighting, Bakugo went a little too crazy and ended up blowing off one of Deku's hands. Just by accident. I mean, he didn't mean to. They were in a pretty big fight. I mean, Bakugo and Deku were in the cafeteria, and Deku and Bakugo were staring daggers at each other, and they just got into a pretty big brawl as, one thing led to another, and Bakugo ended up messing up Deku pretty badly, but Deku just grew back that entire limb, and everybody was just surprised. I mean, they knew Deku had insane regeneration, but nothing like this. Bakugo was just astounded by Deku's ability to heal himself, and Deku just, at this moment, got a flashback to when he was fighting some Saiyan with long hair alongside somebody called Goku. It has a lot of blank areas, but something's weird. He feels like he knows about him. As Deku would just, continue to fight as Bakugo started it, but Deku's gonna end it, as Deku would take down Bakugo and they would both get in trouble, sent to the principal's office. Deku's gonna be a little more, less calm in this version. He's not gonna take crap from anybody, but he's still gonna be pretty chill and down to earth. I mean, he's not a mean guy, but it's like, if you step into Deku, you're not gonna exactly come out unscathed. So, with that being said, Deku's not exactly gonna be like normal Izuku. He's gonna be confident. And he's not going to be one to mess with. The only person who has the guts to do it is Bakugo, since they're going to have that Goku and Piccolo rivalry, I guess you could say, in the tournaments that they had. So, with that being said, Deku grows up and everything is honestly pretty cool. Bakugo and Deku continue having their little bickers every now and then, and on the day that the teacher walks in with the papers, Deku would proceed to say, I already know what I want to do. I want to become a hero. I'm gonna become the strongest hero that this world has ever known. As Bakugo would say, if you can, I'm gonna become the strongest, you damn nerd. As Deku's actually still gonna be pretty smart in this version. So, yeah. As that happens, Deku would say, what the hell did you say, you blonde freak? As Bakugo would say, wouldn't be talking like that, you big ass buffoon. As Deku would get angry and Bakugo would look at him as, there's a little sparks of electricity between them. As the teacher would say, now guys, calm down. If you guys get into another fight, you guys know you're gonna get expelled, right? As Deku would say, what? Expelled? As Bakugo would say, what the hell? Okay. So he would sit down and just stare daggers at Deku as they would just both look at each other. So, this is when class would end, as, they'd be told that they want to go to UA and all that and such. As the day would end and Bakugo wouldn't even approach Deku. Deku would have been texted by his mom that he actually has to get home pretty soon. As Deku would then walk out and, take the normal route that he does. Not the normal, but I mean like normal in My Hero. The tunnel. And as Deku's walking, he would just hear some strange noises coming from the sewer. Deku has pretty enhanced capabilities. He's way faster than others and way stronger at that. So Deku is not no slouch. So when the sludge villain tries to come and attack Deku will lunge away from it and be like, the hell? What are you doing? Why are you trying to attack me? As the sludge villain would say, give me your damn body, kid. I didn't know that freak was here. As Deku would say, what freak? As Deku would then stretch his arms out and try to grab the sludge, but the sludge would then absorb him as Deku would get his arms back. As Deku would say, what the hell? What the heck are you? As the sludge villain would say, give me your body, kid. As Deku would say, oh, crap. As he would just try to stay away from the sludge villain, as he would hear the movements of him, as he would just dodge every now and then. As by the time that All Might arrives, a little part of Deku had actually gotten grabbed as All Might comes in and says, Detroit Smash! As the sludge villain would be no more. After this, Deku would be like, oh, All Might, it's you. Can I get your autograph? As All Might would say, sure, kid. As he would say, it's pretty impressive that you managed to last this long. What's your name? As Deku would say, my name is Izuku Midoriya. As All Might would then ask, what is your quirk, kid? As Deku would say, well, I mean, I'm not sure. I guess you could say it's, elasticity? I mean, that's what they said it was. I mean, I'm not sure if that's really what I'd call it, but that's what they're, saying it is. All Might would say, it's a pretty cool power, kid. Deku would say, I guess, but, I mean, I don't really know too much about it yet. As All Might would then say, interesting. This is when he would grab the bottle and, he would just bottle it up as he jumps off. And Deku's just like, what a great guy. This is when All Might would actually drop the bottle by accident. As Katsuki would get caught, just like in canon. Or Bakugo, I guess we could say. As Deku would hear the explosions, Deku's like, what the heck? What's going on? As Deku would rush on over there. As the sludge villain would be grabbing Bakugo. Deku would see who it was as he would then think, he deserves it. But one part of him, the hero part, would just not let that slide. One part of him is just telling him to move, damn it. Move, you gotta save him. He may be your rival, but he's still, as his body would just move. He would then rush at Bakugo as he then runs over there. As he would then say, get the hell up off him! As the sludge villain would say, damn you, kid! As he would throw a hand, as he would smack Deku away. And Deku would barely dodge it. As, Or no, he would actually dodge it but get smacked away a little bit. It would graze him. As Deku would then rush at the sludge villain, taking off his backpack and throwing it at its eyes. As the sludge villain gives Bakugo a chance to breathe. This is when Deku would grab Bakugo's arm and tear him out of there. As Bakugo would say, I didn't need your help, you bastard. As Deku would say, yeah, talk to me later. Right now we gotta handle this villain. As Bakugo would say, right. As they would both look at each other. As All Might would be watching, and then this is when All Might would step in. He would then say, kid, you got the potential to become one of the greatest heroes. As he would then blow the sludge villain away, and this is when Deku and Bakugo would walk off. Deku would walk off in a separate direction, as Bakugo would say, I didn't need your help. As Deku would say, it's cool, Bakugo, I get it, it's fine. You don't gotta say thank you. As Bakugo would be like, damn it, as Deku and Bakugo would just walk off. This is when All Might would turn around the corner as he would say, I am here! Coughing out blood just like in canon. And this is when Deku would say, All Might, what are you doing here? As All Might would then say, well, kid, I actually wanted to talk to you about something. As All Might would then begin to explain one for all to Deku, his injury, and how he's looking for a successor. After hearing all this, Deku would take everything in as he would then realize that, he's offering the number one hero's quirk is... The number one hero is offering him his quirk? How could he say no to this? I mean, it's All Might. It's his idol, as Deku had always been looking up to him. But when he then thought about it, he would then say, All Might, as much as I love the offer, I want to become a hero by my own merit. I want to become the strongest by myself. But there is somebody that I think could actually take the quirk. As he would then say, he probably needs it. It's been a while since he's beaten me, actually. Ever since we started in middle school, I started kicking his ass. But he's a little bit of a loudmouth, but with potential and with, grooming him a little bit, he might turn out to become a great hero. As All Might would say, and who is this? As Deku would say, Katsuki Bakugo. He's my rival, and he's a little bit of a hothead, but, he is powerful, and he has been the one that's kept me going all this time. As All Might would then say, Katsuki Bakugo, huh? How about this, kid? You take my number and you tell him to meet me at Dagoma Beach tomorrow. As Deku would take All Might's number, as he would then rush to his house and eat a little bit, as he would then tell his mom that he's going to rush to Bakugo or the Katsuki residence, as he would then say, I gotta go to Bakugo's house and tell him something. As she would say, oh no you don't. If you're going over there to fight, you better not be going over there to fight. As Deku would say, I'm not. I actually wanted to ask him if he'd be willing to train with me over the 10 months before the UA entrance exams. Or she would say, oh, are you guys cool now? As Deku would say, not necessarily, but he is strong and he has been the one who's been pushing me along all these years. She would say, that is true. You have been getting stronger with him. As Bakugo and Deku would actually be way stronger than, you'd expect. Bakugo would not be his usual self. He would have actually trained himself pretty damn hard, and his explosions as well as physical body strength would be off the charts, way more than normal Deku, since Deku does have Piccolo's strength and speed, albeit not the same, but a little bit of it is more than enough, as they were over here busting moons. So yeah, I mean, Deku is pretty damn strong at this point, and Bakugo can't compare yet, but maybe One For All can be the thing that closes that gap. As Deku would rush to Bakugo's, as he would knock on his window and say, hey. Bakugo would say, what the hell do you want? As Deku would say, listen, I know we may not be on the best terms, but I have something I want to tell you and talk to you about. As Bakugo would say, the hell do you want? As Deku would say, just meet me at Dagoma Beach tomorrow. I promise it won't be a waste of your time. As Bakugo would say, I'll think about it. As Deku would say, good. As he would rush off home. We're going to go ahead and skip on over to the very next day, as Deku would arrive at Dagoma Beach with Bakugo, as Bakugo would actually arrive. A little late, albeit, as Deku would say, good, you came. He would then be standing next to All Might as Bakugo sees it, and he's like, All Might? What the? As he would say, explain to me, Deku, what's going on? As Deku would say, I think it'd be best if All Might was to explain. As All Might would explain everything to Bakugo, as Bakugo would have his eyes wide open, as he would say, what? Quirks can't be passed on? What the hell is this? As he would say, I mean, All Might, you are my hero, but do you really think I'm worthy of your quirk? As All Might would say, young Midori over there, recommended me to you. He said you may be a little bit of a hothead, but he said you're probably the best candidate for it. As Bakugo would get a little angry, but then smile, thinking that, you're not as bad as I thought, Midoriya. As Deku would say, same to you. As they would both look at each other, and Katsuki would say, I accept. As All Might would then proceed to give Bakugo his hair immediately, seeing that Bakugo was definitely ready for it, and with the 10 months that they have, they're going to go crazy training. Over the 10 months, Katsuki, or Bakugo, I guess you could say, would end up getting about 20% of full cowling off rip. And after a bit of training, he would end up getting 35% of full cowling. And this would have actually been enough to close the gap if Deku stayed the same. But during those 10 months, Deku definitely did a couple things of his own. He also did his homework too, so don't think that Deku was a slouch. During that time, Deku took up meditating, as well as getting a lot of his memories, I guess some flashbacks to his previous life. And this actually helped him with a couple of things that he never knew about. Gigantification. Deku could now grow to the size of a giant ape. The ones in Dragon Balls, he's pretty damn giant. He would also gain the ability to heal others, and he would also have Ki Blasts. He would have learned them after, having a lot of those, things come back to him, and wonder if maybe he can do it too. So for the next 9 months, Deku would spend trying to learn Ki Blast, and after that, it would take him 1 month to learn how to fly. As Deku would definitely be on a roll, and at this point, he essentially has all of Piccolo's abilities. At this point, he would have actually developed a special beam cannon, as Deku would not be no slouch in terms of power. Katsuki, you know what? I'm gonna take it up a notch. Deku, or Bakugo, instead of getting to 30% over the 10 months, I'm gonna make it be a little crazier. He's gonna have 45% of full cowling, just to make sure he's able to keep up with Deku and give him a good fight. Over the 10 months, Deku and Bakugo's relationship would have definitely taken a turn for the best. After this, they definitely would have gotten to know that they're not as different as they thought, and they actually have a little bit of common interests. After all these months, come on now, something must have happened. And at this point, they're on the same ground that Goku and Piccolo were by the time of the Saiyan arc. They would know that they're kind of like yin and yang. They can't really be without each other, since Bakugo pushes Deku and Deku pushes Bakugo. They're pretty good rivals and friends, if you could call it that. They're opening up to that, but I guess they can't say that yet. They pretty much are, but they both won't accept it. That being said, we're going to go ahead and skip over to the 10 months. All Might would see their progress as they were pretty damn ripped. And at this point, Katsuki and Deku are not as small as they were in canon. At this point, Deku and Katsuki would be about 5'11", Deku being 6 foot tall and Bakugo being 5'11". So he'd have a little bit of an inch on, Katsuki, but wouldn't be too big of a difference. Bakugo's explosions would have gotten stronger. His hand-to-hand combat capabilities would have gone off the charts, and 45% full cowling. Yeah, they're gonna be monsters in the entrance exams. Albeit they both kind of slacked in terms of the learning department, so they're gonna struggle there. But you win some, you lose some. So that being said, they go inside, no meeting or a rock at this time, and they take the thing. This time when Deku's, muttering to himself, since he still kind of does that, he's still our Deku, and he's still kind of hero smart. He's wondering what the heck's going on, and Ida would say, "Hey you, be quiet!" As Deku would not say nothing, but give him that stare that makes Ida just turn around quickly. As Bakugo would look at him too, and Ida would just stay quiet. After this, Bakugo and Deku would actually barely pass, and once they're outside, as Ida would walk up to him and say, "What the hell, how dare you look at me like that inside?" Deku would put his hand on Ida as he then crushes his shoulder, as Ida's just like, "Ah!" As Deku would then say, "Stay out of my way and we won't have any problems." As Ida would then say, "How dare you speak to your upperclassmen like this? How dare you speak to your fellow test taker like this? What? You're more like a villain." As Deku would say, "And what if I am?" As Bakugo would step up and say, "What the hell is your problem, you freak?" As he would say, "You better get lost before we have to make you." As Deku would hear that and he'd be like, "What? He's defending me?" As Bakugo would hear those words come out of his mouth as he would say, So he would just kind of stay quiet. This one, Deku and Bakugo would have a little bit of a nod at each other. As Ida would then, try to push Deku as Deku just, oh no. Deku would punch Ida in the gut fast before Ida could react. As Ida would get flown onto the gate as Ida would be holding his stomach, down in pain as, President Mike would have seen what happened. And since he saw that Ida started it, didn't really say anything. So when the exam starts, Ida actually would end up getting 5 less points than Canon, being that he's a little hurt from that punch and he's a little angry at Deku and that blonde-haired kid. He has to get them back at some point. So he tries to sabotage Deku and Bakugo, but it's not worth it. Deku and Bakugo go in there, and Bakugo would actually get a total of 279 points, with Deku getting a total of scratch that. Bakugo would get a total of 369 points. 369, with Deku getting 476. And once the 0-pointer comes in, Deku would not think twice before charging up a special beam cannon. He sees Uraraka as he would say, "Bakugo, save the girl. She doesn't have much time left. The robot's about to crush her." As Bakugo would say, "Right," as he would rush on over there and say, "Don't order me around." Instead of right, actually, sorry. As he would then grab Uraraka, saving her before the robot could crush her. As Deku would then finish charging the special beam as he would blast it at the robot, blowing it to oblivion. As the robot would then get blown away, as Deku would then take it down. And after this, Deku and Baku would just walk off in their own directions, talking to themselves, asking if they think they passed the written exam. As Deku and Baku would just be like, "Hopefully, but I know damn well I passed this part." As Deku and Baku would look at each other before kind of nodding and showing some mutual respect. This is where I'm going to be leaving it off, guys. If you guys enjoyed this part of What If Deku was Piccolo's reincarnation, I'm expecting 300 likes for part 2. But with that being said, it has been your boy Zether. You all know the drill, and I am out.